Welcome to another episode of the Heal Deal podcast. Last week was a good one because I did my very first interview and I had so much fun with it because I think it's very important that we share these journeys and understand these journeys and not just the after. We need to talk about the journey, what got them started, what made them keep going, and all the wins and losses and disappointments because that's all included in a journey. And that's real talk, really understanding what it takes to get well and stay well, because this is a lifestyle. And last week, I talked with Keisha, and she talked about how she turned her short term weight loss goals into a journey of self discovery. And that helped trigger what I want to talk about today, because when she was talking about her healing journey and how it really gave her permission to focus on her, and she was able to learn what she was capable of. I mean, it was very powerful, and it made me really reflect and think about the self-discovery that I experienced in my healing journey. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Looking back about 10 years ago, I was very insecure. I didn't like myself. I wasn't happy with where I was. And also around other people, I felt socially awkward. And I've never been that person that could just strike up a conversation with just about anyone. And another thing is, I didn't enjoy large crowds. So if I was around a lot of people, I was that one that may have sat in a corner and watched everybody else. People may have considered me maybe quiet. They probably thought I was mean or standoffish or a little withdrawn. And if I was that person that was on the dance floor or was more social, there was some alcohol involved. That was like the only way that I can fit in or feel social, was to have a few drinks, because that helped me deal with the anxiety of being in those crowds or loud music or whatever that situation was. And I did try to fit in. I tried to force conversations. I tried to be the entertainer. I just wanted people to like me, but not knowing that this was one of my major stresses in my life that led me to the point where I was just unhappy and feeding those emotions and overeating sugar because no one liked me. And so I would just soothe that hurt with foods that wasn't good for me. And then that just led to one thing after another, the weight and the diabetes and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to help you understand that sometimes it's not about changing the food or exercising more. Sometimes we got to get to the source of the pain and what we're trying to soothe in the first place. And that's what this self-discovery is about. It's like really looking at layers upon layers upon layers of healing, because I've said this also in earlier episodes, where we are today is like an accumulation of our habits and thoughts. So our beliefs create our habits, and our habits create our actions, and our actions create our results. So when you start to backtrack and look at those things, then we start to realize where the core of our problems are. And I really believe a big one for me was really trying to fit in and being accepted in society. And society has their standards. You have to look a certain way and act a certain way to be liked. I really tried hard to make people like me, and I think that was the point. So that led me to being more of a people pleaser. And I guess in a nutshell, I wasn't being who I truly was. It was rough. Ooh, I'm trying to think how long this was going on. This probably was going on since maybe grade school. It was such a part of me that I just figured that there was something wrong with me. So I guess by the time I got to college, maybe even corporate America, I worked hard to change, to try to fit in. And I even took classes. Dale Carnegie was big at that time. And I took How to Win Friends and Influence People, Toastmasters. I mean, I took so many classes and did whatever I could to be accepted. So I guess that just helped me master to be someone else. I did get good at being someone else, but it took its toll over time. And I wish I could say the moment I realized what was going on. I think in my journey, when I was doing a lot of workshops and seminars, I think it was a personality test. And I learned I was an introvert. And I think that's what helped me explore this personality type. And I may have heard about it in the past, but didn't pay much attention because I think initially I thought an introvert was just someone who was really, really shy. But I never thought I was shy. I just felt awkward around a lot of people. Again, I didn't know, I didn't pay much attention to it until I took this class and they really helped me understand that an introvert isn't a shy person. An introvert is just, they just process things differently. So knowing this about myself taught me how to function in such an extroverted world. I'm an introvert and a Black woman. So not only was I a Black woman, try to fit in with Western standards, I was also an introvert trying to deal with extroverted standards. Looking at that and just realizing no wonder I just woke up stressed and went to bed stressed because I was constantly trying to fit in a world that wasn't created for someone like me. And that's really part of that self-discovery. It wasn't until I began to learn this and understand this that this was one of the components that helped me to heal. Sometimes it's knowing who you are in the world that you're in and making it work for you, because sometimes our world and our culture can work against us, okay, instead of for us. People out there don't like people that look like me. People out there don't support people that look like me. So that is a stress in our lives that creates stressful habits and create health conditions based on those habits. So we really got to get deep on the core stress in our lives so that we can learn to adjust. We have to learn how to strengthen ourselves and adapt to these situations. And that's what I had to do. My only regret is I wish I learned this sooner. I wish someone had exposed this knowledge to me a lot sooner, and I'd probably be a lot further along than I am today. So being an introvert, I just learned what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, and just being okay with who I am. And knowing this about myself was a key point in moving forward in my healing journey. It's stressful being someone you're not. It's stressful trying to fit in a society that pretty much has no interest in truly getting to know who you are. And some of us stay in that place for too long, in that place where you tend to worry about what others think or trying to spare everybody's feelings or trying to make them feel more comfortable. I think people stay in that place too long, not realizing that those people that you're trying to please never did care about you and never will. And I know that was one of the toughest lessons that I had to learn about myself. So letting all that go was a very painful part of my healing process. And I wasn't really mad at them. I was more mad at myself for allowing these things to happen. So I had to learn to let it all go. I had to learn to forgive myself. I had to be okay with putting myself first. I got tired of putting other people's needs before my own. I got tired of putting other people's feelings before my own. So I had to be okay with putting my needs first and making sure that I'm taken care of and my mind and my sanity and my body is taken care of. So being a Black woman and an introverted Black woman in a white extroverted world is very difficult. And this explained a lot of the social awkwardness that I experienced. And the whole time, I just put it all on me that something was wrong with me. And I did so much to change me so that I can fit in. Introversion isn't about being fearful or disliking people. That's not true. It's just that introverts enjoy more one-on-one engagement in a calm environment. It's how we regain our energy. An extrovert, they love being around other people. They get their energy from mingling and being around other people. Where introverts, we gain our energy with time being alone or time in nature. And if we are around people, we like small groups of people, and usually people that we know pretty well. I think in this test that I did, I think they said I was about 89% introvert. So I'm on that high spectrum, I guess. I don't know if there's a spectrum, but I'm very highly introverted. But just know that if I am in an event or I am in a seminar or some kind of surroundings where I'm around a lot of crowds, I know that I have to find time for myself alone to get my energy back up. So, for example, I'm thinking about this conference I went a couple years ago, and it was a lot of people there. Oh my gosh. And they had the loud music and all that stuff. So we had breaks. So I knew that whenever we had breaks, that was the time I went outside or I had to find some time alone just so I can recharge, because this was like a 3-day course and I had to make sure that I got rejuvenated. So just know that introverts just gain energy by being alone in a calm environment, where extroverts are the opposite. They love entertaining and having the parties and having a lot of people around them. And before I realized I was an introvert, this fatigue that I experienced, I thought it was depression. I thought that's what I was going through, but it was really just that fatigue of trying to fit in an extroverted world. If I have that feeling that I'm feeling real depressed or tired, is a sign that I just need more rest. I need to recharge. I need to rejuvenate. So, again, it's like as an introvert, those crowded, loud environments are very stressful for us. And what I thought was depression at the time was really that stress of being in those crowds. It's way too stimulating and it's draining. But now that I'm aware of it, if I can, I just avoid a lot of these things. But if it's something like a retreat, small group of people, I love those types of things. Being in a calm environment is what's very crucial for survival. Spending time outdoors, going for walks, and I just surround myself with people that are okay with that as well. That's just kind of how we operate. We just like to be in a quiet place, doing quiet activities. So my books, my movies, my documentaries, my writing, even creating podcasts is my happy place. So big part of my healing was being okay with the person I am, the person that I was put on this earth to be. Very introspective, very curious, very intuitive. And another thing about introverts is we look inwardly. We're in our heads a lot. And because of that, it's like we tend to overthink things, and introverts are very watchful. We see and we hear. We may not tell you we see it. We may not tell you we're hearing it, but we're paying attention. We're very alert. Introverts are good listeners. Tapping into this quality has really helped me become a better leader and healer. So sometimes we got to focus on the gifts that we already have and grow those gifts and expand those gifts instead of trying to be someone we're not. Because that takes a lot of energy, trying to be someone you're not. It's a lot more fulfilling to focus on the gifts that you already have. And we do have gifts. So just know, if you're an introvert out there, there's nothing wrong with you. We just process differently. We see the world differently. There's nothing wrong with being an extrovert. It takes different types of people to make the world the way it is. All right. And other benefits of being an introvert is being okay with being with my own thoughts, with being with my own mind. I had to begin to look more inward in my healing because I had spent a lot of time trying to look outward, even though seeking help from other people was helpful as far as them giving me resources and everything. But at the end of the day, it had to be with my inner thoughts. And it was scary at first. I mean, I had some crazy thoughts going on in my head, and a lot of them were negative towards myself, that I wasn't good enough and wasn't smart enough. All these things that were going on in my head. No one will love you. I mean, the list goes on and on. But as I started this journey and I really got into my mind and realized how toxic it was, but part of my healing was really cleaning that out and separating the lies from the truth and filling my mind with, you are intelligent, you are intuitive. I love my gift of intuition. I love being able to sense things before it happens. Being highly observant and introspective are some very great qualities. But introverts, we like to observe and watch. We don't really speak about it right away or put a lot of attention on ourselves with our opinions. And also, introverts are creative. A lot of musicians are introverts, the ones that play the instruments, songwriters, authors, even a lot of famous entertainers are introverts. So we tend to be very creative, and we don't have that need to conform to society. We're okay with who we are and where we are. And I think that for me was freeing. That was freedom for me, trying not to conform to this world. Okay. Love me or leave me. That's what I like to say. Another thing, I think I said this before, but I want to elaborate a little bit. Being an introvert, you have to heal your mind because that's where you live most of the time. So feed your mind. You need your firm base of healthy habits, because when things do get hectic or when your energy is low, you have your foundation, your health foundation. You have those things that help to boost you up. For me, it's scripture. It's the healthy foods. It's the stretching. It's the exercise. It's the nature walks that give me energy. So again, when I feel depleted and when I know I feel tired, it's usually because I am tired from being in a stressful environment. So instead of grabbing ice cream and other sugary sweets, I had to find a healthy place to recharge my energy. As an introvert, I realized that I'm not going to limit myself to what the world expects of me. When you put your energy into trying to fit in with the world, you don't have the energy to be who you're supposed to be. Even scripture says it. You're in the world, but not of it. It's freedom for me to not try to fit somewhere where I'm not accepted or not wanted, and just being appreciative of what I do have. I am not going to try to impress people that don't accept or appreciate me. Those days are done. It's about the people that hear my voice. It's about the people that resonate with my message. This is who I'm here for. I'm here for my family. I'm here for myself. And I shouldn't be fighting myself. For many years, I fought against who I am. And now it's about loving myself. That's the real self-love. That's the real self-care. So just wanted to share, and I'll be doing some more interviews next week and just sharing more topics. Go in the show notes for more information and resources. I also have a Patreon page that I'm building, so be sure to look into that and join me with that. I want to connect with people personally. The Patreon is going to be about building a community of people that I can get to know personally. The new Patreon page is a way to connect and be able to talk to you directly and hear your voice. So really consider becoming one of my patrons as well. And that link will be in the show notes. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go for now. And until next time, go out there and achieve more freedom in your health and your life. Take care.